Hey, I just wanted to do a little bit of a collective read to kind of like start off like the landscape kind of thing that I want to try to do different readings for my YouTube people so that way they're not watching everything in the portrait view. I will eventually be doing these like on live. Like right now I have like the live things. It says 0 because like I'm not live right now. So eventually I will be doing these live. And then I'll just use them for the collective reads. But for the first one, for today, I just wanted to do that. So the first one coming through is we're having a hard time seeing. Like we're not quite there. Like we see pinpoint focus of what we should be seeing, but then we're kind of like blind to everything else. And they're saying that we need to study more. We need to study and be more detail oriented so we can kind of like extend our viewpoints. Interesting. So it's also about like making sure that we are aware that there are people that are relying on us, and that they are watching us in a way that like they're attributing their growth to watching us. So that means that like there are people that are relying on us, because if we're not doing well, then they don't have that guidance to be able to be like, oh my gosh, like I can do this. So when we struggle to focus, when we struggle to come into this detail and understanding, then these people that are watching us are also failing because they're watching with intent. Like I'm getting this big feeling of intent. Like I need you. I need you to do well so you can show me that I can do well too. So definitely feeling like this daunting climbing of a hill, and then seeing that daunting cliff on the other side. We're not jumping off the cliff, metaphorical cliff. We're not jumping off of it. We're just trying to get to a point, a higher point, a peak, if you will, in which where we can see the expansive areas. And right now we're climbing, but we're not at that top yet. And I think that's why we don't see the whole picture, because we're climbing and we're too focused, but we're like our faces in the bushes, if you will. Like we are climbing this mountain and we're in the bushes. And then we're not like seeing the wider picture of things. Yeah, we're not even able to see the mountains on the far side, looking too closely. Yeah, we're looking too closely. They're showing me that we're worried about the skin deep concerns. Concerns with self. So we're only seeing what's right in front of us. Very hermit mode when they're asking us to step out with temperance. They're showing me the temperance card, which is very close to patience, but it's more about like inner peace and tranquility as well. So it's about like being able to be resilient in a way that like things kind of like just flow. Okay. Yeah, and then they're showing me a sailboat on a river, on a lake, and then a whisper. So like it's like waiting for the wind to carry us, but that wind is not going to come. So there's things that we need to be ready for, but there's things that are not going to come in that we're waiting for. We think that we're waiting for this particular thing, but we're going to have to work hard to get ourselves to move, propel forward. There isn't going to be a moment in which we're like, oh my gosh, there we go, I'm moving again. It's saying we need to start and be the catalyst of that start. And that is through detail-oriented, studying our environment, taking a step back, continuing to climb, but instead of being on our knees in the bushes, we stand up so that way we can see the tops of those bushes, we can see where the top is, so we can climb with more efficiency, because we have people that are relying on us and want to watch our efforts. Okay, I'm going to grab some cards to kind of ground the message. It's saying that we need to stop sometimes though and pay attention to what we are needing, and focus on self-love. So yes, we have these people relying on us, but it says that we need to make sure that we're also considering ourselves throughout this, to make sure we're not pushing too far into not understanding that we also need something. Yeah, you're the queen of your own world, so you need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. But when we stand up and as we're climbing, we need to make sure. Otherwise, it says triumph of lies. So we're having a hard time with all the lies right now and all the stuff that we're being told. And that's why we're kind of like falling into ourselves. And we're not feeling necessarily like we are the queen of the world, or our own world, or we have control over our own worlds. When we're just, the world seems like a lie, and there's a lot of bad things that are happening. I'm being told that we're not able to see like the outcomes being fruitful, but we need to be aware that it is coming, that we are going to have these outcomes come out better if we continue to know that we are at the top of it. Yeah, we need to come into balanced perception. Yeah, a more balanced perception. We're having a struggle with that balanced perception. Sometimes bad things have to happen so good things can come in. And that's what they're trying to say is like, yes, we're having a struggle with this, but like, I'm glad that I pulled that card when I did, because I was having a hard time getting it out in words. So like, I'm glad that the universe helped me out with that. But yeah, it's about like understanding that sometimes bad things have to happen in order for the good things to come in. My eye's twitching, so this is about stress. So this one is about stress. So yeah, we're not being tender with ourselves. We're like, we need to go, go. And then when we feel like we're failing at that, we're really harsh on ourselves. And we're not being that more temperance, patience, trying to see that we're just doing our best. No, we are doing our best. And that under these conditions, it's difficult, but we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up hope, because we're going to have tenderness for ourselves, and we're also going to have tenderness for others around us, because they are also struggling. We're not the only ones being lied to. Okay. So this is a leap into fortune. So we're having a hard time seeing that future and seeing things that are going to come out and play in the right way. And this feels like that loss of hope. So we need to make sure that we are, like this one right here. Weird. Okay, so these are together. So we need to seek inspiration, and we need to find those undeserving villains. So within our lives, we know who the undeserving villains are. There are people right now that are hurting, and they're hurting. We're hurting each other. And it's kind of like when somebody like shakes the bottle of ants, then the ants start attacking each other. They're not looking at the force that's shaking the bottle. These other ants, they're just ants like us. They're just people like us. And when we have a shitty day, sometimes we lash out. And it's about making sure that we're paying attention to going, you know what, if that person's lashing out at me, it's probably not about me. It's probably that they're dealing with the same kind of crappy thing that we are. And that's why we need to be have tenderness for others as well as ourselves. Because like these people are becoming villains because they're hurting. And we need to make sure that we know that this is misplaced anger. And this is why we need to seek that inspiration, because as we seek that inspiration, as we seek this balance, as we balance our perceptions, as we continue to be the great person that we know we are, then these people then have that inspiration to move forward and then follow in lead. So that means to say that they're going to try to better their lives because they see that others are able to do it too. And that's the key to wisdom. Yeah, and that is in the details. So we need to make sure that we are not attacking one another. That when we see that this misplaced anger, we know that it's misplaced. We're not going to then attack back our fellow ant. We're going to look at who's shaking the bottle. And that is to just making sure that we know that we are doing our best. Keep going. Keep seeking that inspiration and wisdom, and we are inspiring others every day that we push through, and that we keep climbing that hill. I do feel like there's one more shadow card coming out, and it feels like a strong message. This one right here. Yeah. And we need to watch out for those parasitic energies, the ones that take a lot of your energy, and then don't give back. So just look for those people in your life. Those are the ones that are the real villains here. So just making sure that you're not giving too much of your energy to the wrong types of people. Alright, thank you for listening to my reading. I hope it resonated with you guys, and look for more of these. Bye guys!